Yeah.
Every time I meet an American guy, they seem to ask me, "Do you eat scones?" I'm like, I'm like, right.
I think I've had that once in my life.
Not scones.
You know what I mean?
Not scones.
Before I used to get, do you know the Queen? I used to get, do you know Barack? I remember asking people, like, why would I know the Queen? All of the people, like the Sarah Garveys, the Dr. Umar Johnsons, these people should be going into the big positions and trying to get things like proper law pushed into
policies changed. They should be using their,
you know what I mean? Use their platform for that,
exactly.
or talk about it at least.
They're narcissists. They're narcissists.
It just shoots the narrative. They're the
selfish
same
people.
It's the same principle as the governments in the Caribbean. Yeah, a lot of these places, not just the Caribbean, a lot of places that are going through a lot of poverty. You find that the government and the people of power try to make rubbish deals for the country that benefit their pocket and not the country.
Serves their own self-interest.
Do you know
They're
what I mean?
never ever concerned about.
And this is what the issue is.
It all comes down to capitalism.
Yeah.
It all comes down to capitalism.
Yeah.
Essentially, like Julian Assange says, like the government is in cahoots with the private sector to use the public's money, you know what I'm saying, basically, and put it into private hands. That's basically the relationship in short.
And then in that sense,
what do you think austerity is about?
But then in that sense,
what do you think the private prisons are about?
It's true.
Why do you think they keep on trying to privatize the NHS?
Yeah, for that exact reason.
Do you know what I mean?
Same principle I was saying to him earlier.
That's what you can also go back to, like prison sentencing as well. So if they're in cahoots with the government, then, and we all know that prisons are private. They're all it's a whole system, right? They're not gonna do what is meant to be done.
100%.
Because it's not about deterring or preventing people from
But it's like the blind leading the blind, essentially. Not completely, but I mean, like, if you haven't come from something, you don't know how to behave in it. So when I'm talking about wealth and riches, and not just that, it's just comfortability. Some people are coming from real hardship, and then they just because they're educated, they've managed to get themselves to a powerful position.
Bro, the perception that we get of African Americans, for us over here in the UK, via social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, we see black people acting wild, right? But is that a representation of the average?
No,
it's not. Because loads of Americans, I've met Americans, black Americans. They're not more time. They're not the people that we see on the socials.
They exist, but
no, they exist. But what I'm saying is, like, these lot are getting on with life. A lot of them are getting on with life. Becoming very successful, using the opportunities that you know what I'm saying, that are available to them in America. But we're only seeing from a UK perspective, we're only seeing like African Americans in a certain light. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of them. Again, the fact that black people are not a monolith. Do you understand? There's a lot of black people in America who are very rich and successful and powerful. Okay, they might not be looking out for the black community. They might not. Cool. Well, like that's. He wanted to. That person, he or she, just went down a different route and didn't want to be a criminal. A lot of black Americans, bro, they come from middle class families. A lot of them have got money more time, bro. The ones that I've met are not the ones from the projects, from the hood that we grown up seeing, or the ones that we see. Do you get me? So we got to be very like particular, and this is something that I've realised over time. Do you get it? Even like growing up, we'll listen to all the rappers, 50 Cent, Game, all these man. We're thinking, what? This is every black man in America. The older you get, you're like,
it's the same principle over here. Every time I meet an American guy, they seem to ask me, "Do you eat scones?" I'm like, right.
I think I've had that once in my life.
Not scones.
You know what I mean?
Not scones. Before I used to get, do you know the Queen? I used to get, do you know Barack? I remember asking people, like, why would I know the Queen, fam? Like, a man trying to violate the thing.
Imagine
like,
that is an actual clip. That's a clip. Why would I know the Queen, fam?
You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, listen, the thing that I'm saying, cuz, it's mad. Yeah? The Americans.
But do you think...
Do you remember, like, I started to cut you, sister. I remember when you said to me, he was in Iowa, and a girl asked him, where you from? He said, London. And she turned around and said, is that in France? You see that shit? Do you remember that?
She fully did. She fully did.
Yeah.
No.
I felt bad for her. My boy threw a banana in her head.
No, but
too, mate. Yeah.
no, bro.
Have that.
You know, I forgot Americans. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
there's YouTube. Yeah, like flipping videos. Yeah. Basically showing you how ignorant Americans are, no matter what color they are, bro.
100%.
Is it South Africa?
Yeah, the country of Asia.
Greenland or Iceland or something.
Although these are no doubt cherry-picked, and I'm sure if you stood in a big city all day and shoved a camera in people's faces and asked them questions, you'd be able to find 3 minutes worth of people who couldn't answer on the spot.
Miss, for $1, name a woman.
Name a woman?
Yeah.
But the stereotype that Americans are ignorant about the wider world is largely true. These people can't name a country because they don't care about other countries. 40% of Americans have a passport, compared to 66% of Canadians and 76% of Brits.
Americans are actually known for being mad, ignorant.
Facts.
They think the world is just the United States of America.
Nothing outside of the United States makes sense. And you know what? That brings me right back down to the main root. It's the media. You go to... I know, I'm not trying to big it up like that, but shout outs to EastEnders. You think you go ask any American man about EastEnders? Yeah? But most men know about Power, though. And you're flipping all these other shows.
Exactly.
There was one
we
clip-
know about Housewives of Atlanta, all of these things that we know about their culture, but they're not interested, they're not aware of.
They're not interested. And it's because they're driven by negative. Yeah,
It comes down to representation, my bro. Again, I studied this shit at uni, bro. I studied media, innit, and man delved into deep into representation, bro. And this is everything we're talking about. It comes down to that.
See,
Representation. Do you get it?
Innit?
100%. So this is why you got to be like, oh, hold on. They keep on showing us certain videos and certain clips and certain things about Black Americans, but you got to think, hold on, is that actually the average Black American?
Same principle, different subject.
You need to
not same principle, but if you think about how the media presents Africa to us.
Is that
Every child has got kwashako.
Yeah.
And sometimes you want to say to people, this is not, it's, trust
what I'm
me,
saying.
every child is always
They're
crying.
living.
Lies.
Au Congo, le matin tu peux te réveiller pauvre, le lendemain tu deviens riche parce que tu as travaillé.
Eric has a huge project at the end of this extremely dangerous road. He is erecting a huge dam to provide the population with electricity.
Ça va rapporter près de $1 million par mois.
Listen,
The way
my
I
brother's yards in Africa right now. Listen, my brother bought a yard in Gambia. The yard that them man are living in. My brother, is that my cousins? But he hit me. He built a yard in Sierra Leone. The thing's got.
the general level of living is not how you see it on water aid.
Listen.
You know what I mean? And that's actually a really good point, because actually you even, honestly, before when you mentioned like the world, you think that the biggest population of black people outside of Africa or the world is in America. It's not.
It's not.
It's Brazil.
Yeah.
I would never have thought that it's Brazil.
Yeah.
I would
It's,
never
again,
have
back
thought
to
it
the
was
narrative
Brazil.
of slavery. Oh, just
She's
North
not-
America, huh?
Yeah, it's actually, you know what?
Big man over there too.
Do you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? There's so
More,
much more
like,
of the
arguably,
world.
like, it's
This is actually this is such this is
representation.
Such a good conversation. But also it's about, I think, also our education and what we're taught.
Major
I remember
point.
when I was younger, my mum always used to ask me, I said, "Oh, you know, what did you learn about?" She always used to say to me, "Sharon, take a big interest in history." I was like, I took history because mum told me to take history.
Of course, respect.
But when she'd ask me, she'd be like, "Okay, so what did you learn about history?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, well, you know, British history, bit about Europe, Ireland, a bit about North America. That's it." We didn't learn anything about Asia. What about Russia?
What about
Russian history. My mum was like, "Wait, what?" She's like, "You didn't know about the rest of the world?" I was like, "Nothing." I want to learn about Russian history. Look at that massive bit of land. What about the whole of USSR?
Imagine, yeah.
Former.
Major, former, yeah.
Or
know
like
nothing about
World War II, like, okay, what was going on in
Or
Africa?
what about the
What was going
former
on in the Caribbean?
empires?
Well,
Or what about the former empires? All
Yeah.
of this informs who you are and your understanding of people around you. Do you see what I mean? So if you're isolated and you only learn about your own little small little like version of history. It's very, very dangerous.
Because they try to.